us start the class. We are going to continue with the chapter time. Okay, today's topic is reading and writing time. Okay, how to read and write time. Now, to read and write time, we need what? A clock, isn't it? So, using a clock, we can read and write time. Before starting the class, let us see the different events that happen throughout the day. When the sun rises, we know it is morning. Okay, so if it was a regular day, it is time for us to wake up, have our breakfast and go to school. Okay, so that happens early in the morning. When the sun is above our head, then it is noon. Okay, we have our lunch. Okay, and after that, after school, we go to home. Okay, then it is time for the sun to set down. It is evening. Okay, and after that it becomes dark, then we have our dinner and we go to sleep. These are the events that happen throughout the day. Okay, now here I have taken some pictures which happens throughout the day. In this picture you can see stars are twinkling. So when do stars twinkle? At noon or at night? The stars twinkle at night. In the absence of the sun, we can see the stars are twinkling in the sky during the night. Okay, when we see above up in the sky, we can see the stars. Okay, in the second picture we can see a girl is running. Okay, so why the girl is running? The girl is running because it is morning and it is a jogging time. Okay, she is going for a run. So when we do our jogging or morning walk? Early in the morning when the sun rises. Okay, so that is also an event that happens during the morning. Okay, the third picture we can see the family is having their what? Dinner. What they are having? They are having their dinner. How do we know that it is a dinner? We know that it is a dinner because if you look outside this window, you can see that it is dark. So it is dinner. Okay, if the sun was shining brightly, then it would have been either lunch, or if the sun was rising, then it would have been breakfast. Okay, so breakfast always happens in the morning, lunch in the noon and dinner at night. So these are the events that happen during the day in our read and write time using a clock. Now how to identify a clock? Okay, so a clock is basically circular in shape. Some different varieties of clock also you can take. It can be a square, okay, or oval. Alright, so I have taken a standard one that is the circle shape. Okay, so in a clock we can see the numbers from 1 to 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Inside a clock we can see hands moving. Okay, so what are these hands called? The shorter hand is known as the hour hand. Okay, the shorter hand is known as the hour hand, and the longer one is known as the minute hand. Okay children, now the hands of a clock always move in this direction. Okay, so when it moves in this direction, it is known as the clockwise direction. Okay, alright, so the hands of a clock always move in the right side of the clock. Alright, and this minute hand, when it moves from one place to another, suppose it starts from 12 and it comes back, it rotates in this direction and then it comes back and again it stops at 12. That means it has passed how many minutes? 16 minutes. How many minutes? 60 minutes. Now the time here is 3 o'clock. Why it is 3 o'clock? When we read time, we always look at the short hand. Okay. Now the short hand is pointing at 3 and the minute hand is pointing at 12. Okay. So when the hour hand is on 3 and the minute hand is on 12, we say it as 3 o'clock. What we say is 3 o'clock. And when the minute hand points at 12 and the hour hand at any of the numbers, we read as the time of the hour. So when the minute hand is at 12 and his hour hand is at any of the number, then we read the time at the numbers it is pointing at. Now it is 3 o'clock. Now before I told you that when the minute hand, when it starts from 12 and completes a rotation and when it comes back at 12, this hour hand will move from 3 to 4. That means 1 hour has passed by. Now the 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. Why is it 60 minutes? Why it is calculated as 60 minutes? Because here we can see from 12 to 1 there are how many minutes? 5 minutes. From 1 to 2, 5 minutes. So from here, after between the division of every numbers, there is a difference of 5 minutes. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 and 60. So one complete rotation of the minute hand becomes 60 minutes, which is equal to 1 hour. Okay? Alright, so now the time is what? Now the time is 4 o'clock. Okay, so in this way we can read and write the time of a clock. How we can say that? We have to first look at the shorter hand, which is known as the hour hand, which it is pointing at, and the minute hand is pointing at 12. Okay, so it is now 4 o'clock. Now suppose the hour hand is pointing at 9 and the minute hand is pointing at 12. So what time is it? The time is 9 o'clock. The time is 9 o'clock. Okay children? So in this way we can read and write time using the hands of a clock. What are the hands? The hour hand, which is the shorter hand, and the longer hand is known as the minute hand. Okay children? So with this that we have learned today is the hour, minutes and clock. Okay children? So here I have taken some examples of time showing clock. Okay, so we already know that in a clock there are two hands. The short hand is known as the hour hand and the long hand is known as the minute hand. Now we have to look at the time. We have to read and write the time looking from the picture given here. So what is the picture? What is the time showing here? The short hand is pointing at 10 and the long hand is pointing at 12. So what time is it? It is 10 o'clock. Okay, so we always have to look at the short hand pointing at the number, and when the minute hand, that means the longer hand, is pointing at 12, it shows the number that the short hand is pointing at. So it is exactly 10 o'clock now. Okay, the next picture is the short hand is pointing at 9 and the longer hand is pointing at 12. So what is the time? The time is 9 o'clock. Okay, let us go to the next picture. The next picture is both the short hand and the long hand is pointing at exactly at one number. What number is it? The number is 12 o'clock. So the time is 12 o'clock. Okay, so let us go to the next picture. The next picture you have to tell yourself. Everybody, now whoever is watching the video, you just look at the number and say the answer to yourself. I'll not say the answer, but I'll say that the short hand is pointing at 5 and the longer hand is pointing at 12. So what time is it? Okay, so if you have got the answer, you can send it in the Google Classroom with the homeworks that I'll be giving today. Okay, I have taken here 2 questions today. Okay, based on the topic that we have learned. What we have learned? We have learned to read and write time looking at the hands of a clock. Now look at the question here. I eat my snacks and do homework at dash o'clock in the evening. So how will you know what is the time? We can look from the picture here. From the picture we can see that the hour hand is pointing at 5 and the minute hand is pointing at 12. So what time it will be? Okay, so this question I'll be sending in the Google Classroom. You can send me the answer. Okay, the next question is, Raj goes to school every day. He drinks milk and have his breakfast at dash o'clock in the morning. So breakfast, we already know that we usually take our breakfast in the morning. So what time is it? Okay, so children, you can look at the clock, you can read the time, and you can write it down in the blank. Both the questions I will be giving in the Google Classroom. You have to send me there. Okay children? So children, this is the topic for today. What we have learned? We have learned to read and write time using the hands of a clock. And the new words that we have learned is hour, minute and clock. Okay children? So this is the class, and with this I conclude my video. Thank you and have a nice day.